Hello there, it's Ebird Online again, and I'm here with another review of Before the 90 Days. This is Series 3, Episode 9, Out of the Blue. And today I'm going to be talking about Avery and Omar, Caesar and Maria, and Tim and Jennifer. I'm so sorry I didn't manage to get a video out for you guys yesterday. I wasn't feeling too well, so I'm going to try and do 2 today. So please bear with me. Thank you guys for getting me past that 6,000 subscribers mark. If you haven't done it yet, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for regular videos, reviews and updates. And also don't forget to press the like button. So Tim and Jennifer, this was possibly one of the most awkward and embarrassing scenes that we've had to witness on Before the 90 Days, of course with the exception of Caesar's terrible acting. But we join Tim and Jennifer waking up in bed from their first night of passion. Guys, let's find out how it went. Morning baby, purrs Jennifer, and she's acting like there's no problem and that everything's fine. But then Tim explains that after the first kiss, he couldn't perform in bed last night. Well, Jennifer, calling someone a pussy will do that to a man. Tim gets up to make Jennifer some fruit, and Jennifer joins him. Tim says, "I'm sorry, I really am." And Jennifer explains to the VT that she didn't manage to consume him. What? Oh, right, I see. Thankfully, she just means they didn't have sex. Tim's explanation is that they were kissing and touching, and then they stopped because he needed time to think. He tells us Jennifer's the first girl that he's ever felt something for since breaking up with his Colombian ex a year ago. And do we note, guys, how Tim always talks about his ex as in his Colombian ex? Her being Colombian is quite a big deal for him. And Tim tells us Jennifer's the first girl he's felt something for and is being super cautious because he can't go through another heartbreak. But of course, Jennifer's quite upset. She says, "You rolled over and we went to sleep." And she said, "What was wrong? You refused to talk to me." Jennifer, ladies, let's be real. If you're in bed with a guy that has problems performing, what are the chances that he wants to sit and discuss it and break it down at the time, there and then? Very, very slim. Now the writing was on the wall with this one. Remember when they first got into the car from the airport? Tim couldn't even look Jennifer in the eye. I just thought his forehead was too big to fit in the car properly. But no, he was just scared of her. And then last week he said, "Oh, Latin lovers, they're supposed to be amazing." So really, we could all foresee Tim not coming. And Jennifer says she feels really sad. We have to feel the moment. We have not to be cautious. And she says she needs more from him. She tells us, "I need him to be a stronger pussy. Stronger man." Jennifer, if you emasculate someone time after time after time, this is the kind of thing that happens. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Tim is predisposed to this kind of problem anyway. But your insistence on your being intimate as quickly as possible and your pressure only seeks to make the problem worse. So we catch up with them a bit later, and Jennifer decides to take Tim to a national park. Tim tells us, "Last night I let her down, so I want to do whatever she wants today. I'm going to make it up to her." And as they're walking through, he said, "What is this place? Where are we going?" And he seemed really uninterested. It doesn't seem like he wants to do whatever she wants at all. So they walk around, but he's walking behind like some sort of sulking child. She said, "Oh my God, look, there's parrots. I used to have a parrot when I was younger." Tim cast a bored eye over the parrot, and he didn't even try to look interested. Tim, try going to Albania and then get back to me on boring. And he didn't really seem to be interested in any of the animals, any of the wildlife, or even any of the gorgeous views. Where can I take him? What will excite him? What will he want to do, thinks Jennifer. I know. And so she takes him to a death swing. And Tim asks, "What's this?" You can see very well it's a death swing. And she said, "I want to go on it." And Tim said, "No way." Jennifer, you know very well that Tim doesn't like heights. Let's cast our mind back just a few days to when you made him go on that big wheel and he actually put his cap over his face because he was so scared. And you even said Violetto's not scared of anything. So you know very well that he's scared of heights. But she decides to try and coax him. What does she do? Does Jennifer go, "Softly, softly, please Tim, just for me"? No, she says, "It's for 2 persons, so you have to do it for me." He said, "Still, no way, I'm not doing it." And then, as Jennifer does, she starts shouting, "You don't care that it's dangerous for me? If I go alone, I can't go alone." And she got angry very, very quickly. Try again, Jennifer. Try harder. Try and coax him. "You are too pussy for me. Too coward to live. Too coward to walk. Too coward to enjoy. Too coward for everything." Yup, that'll do it. He still said, "Nope, we're not doing it." And she was moaning, saying, "Oh my God, we're just so not similar, Tim. We're so dissimilar, it's unreal. You're not even trying. Tim, look at me. Tim, look at me." And Tim, for the first time, asserted himself. He said no. And he tells us he feels like he's being disrespected. She knows very well he doesn't like heights. He said to her, "Are you finished?" Was that a trick question, Tim? Of course she's not finished. She won't be finished until she's got your balls strung up from the sign of the Colombian National Park. Tim tells the VT later he's really worried about his relationship with Jennifer. He doesn't know if they're managing to gel properly, and he doesn't want to go to all the trouble of getting her a green card and bringing her to America if it's all just going to go wrong anyway. Later she tries to talk to him and she tells him, you're a difficult person to deal with, you should just go home. And she says he's so unattractive to her at the moment she can't even look at him. And at this point I'm just thinking, Tim, cut your losses and go. This girl goes from 0 to 100 in 10 seconds. She doesn't care a jot that you don't like heights. Phobias are very real things, Jennifer. He's not just making it up, he doesn't like heights. Your personalities are not similar. You seem to want an alpha male to go alongside your alpha female personality so that you can argue yourselves into a divorce, just like you did with your last husband. Tim, all you're interested in is her aesthetic. You like the fact that she's Colombian, just like your ex. You like the fact that she's very pretty, just like your ex. You like the fact that she's a model on Instagram, but a model nevertheless. Your personalities simply don't fit together. You seem like somewhat of a caring guy. You bought a teddy for her child. You bought presents for her. She seems somewhat of a selfish young lady. She gives you nothing but insults. When she finds any weakness that you have, she seeks to exploit that weakness again and again. You're not suited. Give up the ghost. And I've also got another little theory on this relationship, because I have a feeling that Tim wasn't 100% into this whole thing in the first place. I do think that Tim wanted to be on TV, and I think that Tim in some ways wanted to showcase himself. So he's more or less saying, Latin ladies of America, Latin ladies of Colombia, I'm here, I'm rich, I've got a gorgeous accent, and I'm just waiting to find my Miss Right, whom I can marry and start a family with. Loads and loads of women would love that package, and I think he's using this TLC show as a kind of giant Tinder. Let me know what you guys think to my little theory. And next we get to Caesar and Maria. And that's the end of Caesar and Maria for this week. No, I'm joking, although it almost might be true because there's really nothing new with this boring couple. We catch up with Caesar and he's just packing. He tells us it's his last day in Mexico. For 5 years he's been working his ass off and he feels really, really bad. He's all alone now, all alone. He's on his own now, he's on his own. Who wrote this script for you, Caesar? Don't tell me you wrote it for yourself. It's as bad as you're acting. He says everyone in Jacksonville will now have to know what happened. No, Caesar, everybody in the whole of the world will know what a numpty you are. And then he tells us his perfect vision is lost, it's gone. What was his perfect vision, you ask? His vision of them going grocery shopping, getting a new car, getting married, all of the fun things a couple would do together. Your perfect vision, Caesar, is a perfect vision for the girl next door. That kind of perfect vision isn't a perfect vision for a girl who looks like Maria. If Maria is going to have to downgrade to your salary and your looks, she's going to want more than grocery shopping. Then he tells us he wants to go to the Ukraine to speak to her, as she won't pick up the phone. Yep, because if she won't text, she's very likely to agree to a meeting, isn't she? Maybe if the flight wasn't cancelled, she might have been here. She wouldn't have been Caesar because she took your $2,000 before and spent it on hair and makeup. She was never coming. He's going to give her a week and then he's going to continue calling her and harassing her. And as we see him in a taxi going to the airport, he tells us he still feels that they can be together. You were never together anyway. And in his mind, they're just taking a break. He can't believe he's had to work so hard. Caesar, at this point, I'm going to give you a little tip for the rest of your life. Working hard doesn't pay. You have to work smart. You're a nail tech. So an example of working smart would be to get your own private clients at home. Maybe you can do a mobile service. You'll probably get paid 3 or 4 times more than you would at the salon. Why don't you make a bridal package and go round to weddings and do all the brides, the mother of the bride and the bridesmaid's nails before a wedding? You could charge quite a lot for this package, and that would be another example of working smart. Maybe you could do an online course and learn some new skills. Maybe being a nail tech isn't as lucrative as it might be. Maybe another type of career might make you more money. Or maybe you could have taken the £40,000 that you've allegedly showered onto Maria and opened up your own salon. on and had people working for you. So whilst you sleep, money's rolling in. Whilst you're in Mexico, money's rolling in. Whilst you're daydreaming on the phone to one of Maria's stock messages, you could be making money. Just a few ideas from the Ebird to help you work not so hard and a little more smart. And that's everything from Caesar and Maria for this week. And in fact, that's probably everything from Caesar and Maria for this life. And finally, we get to the one that you've all been waiting for, Avery and Omar. So we catch up with Avery and Omar having a celebratory meal after their wedding. As we remember last week, Avery has just dropped the bomb, no pun intended, that she and Omar plan to move to Syria, and Teri has just stormed out into the car park. They both run after Teri and they bring her back indoors. And guys, for me the most uncomfortable thing is watching the way both Avery and Omar don't seem to be that caring about Teri and what she's going through. As they deliver the news that they're moving to Syria, they both look her dead in the eyes and they're kind of looking at her as if they don't really like her. It's so strange. And then Omar explains to Teri that it's very safe in the part of Syria where he lives and he knows where to take her and where is unsafe. Oh, thank God, Omar. Thank God you're in control of the war, and thank God you're in control of where ISIS decide to go. Thank God you're controlling where they're going to attack next. I hope that Omar does get a green card, because if nothing else, we need a trainee periodontist to advise both the US and the UK of our next strategic move in this awful, ongoing, bloody, multifaceted conflict. Thank Allah for Omar. Omar, like I said last week, we don't know where the war's going to move to. None of us knows. So therefore, it's unsafe for Avery to go. And guys, again, so many of you have been getting into my messages and saying I'm anti-Muslim because I don't want her to go to Syria. There are Muslims in Lebanon. I don't mind Avery moving to Lebanon. And it's all well and good saying Syria's just fine. Why is it then, Omar, that you want to get out of Syria? Answer me that question. Why is it? Why did you join an American dating site and pretend to be in America until you then snared someone? If Syria's so great, you just want to stay there. You don't. You want to get out, as do lots and lots of Syrians, because it's not safe. So then the trio go back with Teri to the hotel, and Teri says that she's glad that Avery married Omar. Give it time. I just think because Teri had tears in her eyes, she couldn't see that Omar was smirking as she was crying. And I have to give it to her, she is a class act. As she was leaving, she called Omar her new son. She looks broken, but she still asks Omar if he will take care of her daughter, and he says yes, he will. Omar tells the VT later he understands Teri being sad, but she must understand now that Avery is his wife. Of course she understands that Avery is his wife, Omar, because Teri is the one that facilitated the fact of Avery becoming your wife. Teri is the one that got Avery to Lebanon. Teri is the one that found the mosque and the sheikh to marry you. Teri is the one that got you together so that you could get your paperwork so that Avery could be married whilst Teri watched. So she very much understands that Avery is your wife, and she doesn't need you to remind her. Then Avery says it's bittersweet sending her mum home. She said she's going home sad and scared, and that's the last way she wanted it to go down. I'm 19 and I've got my life to lose. I mean, my life to live. Avery, if you didn't want it to go down like that, why did you tell her at that point that you were moving to Syria? Why didn't you wait until she had support? Why didn't you wait until your dad was there and she was on home soil in America? You get back in just 5 days. You could have told her then. You chose not to. You chose to make the end of her trip very sour by telling her in that way at that venue. And that was extremely selfish. Omar says he can't wait for their wedding night, and Avery said she can't wait to be with a man who really values even a kiss. Yep, he values a kiss, but not as much as an obedient kiss with a green card giver. That's what he really values. And she tells us, it's my wedding night. It's the first time my husband will get to see my hair. Yeah, Avery. If he just flicks back 3 or 4 months on Insta, he'll see all of the hair of yours that he wants. But as she's walking around her hotel room, I'm looking at her wedding dress, and guys, it really is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. So if nothing else, at least Omar has good taste when it comes to dresses. And the next time we see the the couple. They're going out shopping. And you can tell by the look on Avery's face, she's so happy. Finally, I'm shopping. Yep, now that we've got all that pesky wedding and Syria stuff out of the way, we can get back to what's really important. Pretty things! She tells us that she had an amazing night and that they clicked really well. She said her friends have always told her not to buy the car without test driving it, but she says she's got a 2019 Porsche. Self-drive, you know, push to start. It's perfect. Avery. Every new car's great when you first get it. Wait 3 months down the line and you realise, oh, I've got a Porsche, but there's no room for my shopping in the back. We can only get 3 in this car, and my insurance is through the bloody roof. Judge in 3 months' time, Avery. Judge in 3 months' time. And then she goes on to ask her new husband, how does it feel to have a wife now? Does it feel different? And he tells her, yeah. And she said, do you feel comfortable with me? Yeah. 100%, 200%. Avery, what's with all the bloody questions? Then she asked, was your first kiss really weird? He looked slightly embarrassed as she said this, and then he said yeah. And he says later on the VT that he's never kissed a girl before. Guys, if you look at his eyes and look at his body language when he says that, you can tell he is not telling the truth. Omar, this is a lie. He starts shifting around, he starts moving, and whilst that can be taken for body language of embarrassment, I genuinely think that he isn't telling the truth. I do think that he's at least kissed a girl before. And on this shopping trip, Avery likes everything that shines. And she tells us she likes bags, she likes shoes, she likes hijabs, she likes makeup, she likes perfume, she likes everything. Avery is a capitalist wet dream. She'll buy anything that looks good, including her husband. But it seems that Omar is not quite so superficial, and he says he doesn't like all of these things. Avery picks up a Quran, and she says, Habibi, this would look so cute in our apartment. Avery, a Quran is a holy book. It's to be read and to be enriched by. It's not an ornament to look at and just to be pretty. And as they sit down to have a drink, Omar's phone rings. It starts Avery thinking, I hope I like your friends when I get to Syria. I can be a lot to handle. I dance in the street, I'm loud. And Omar said, you must curtail this side of your personality forthwith. All words to that effect. And she said, but Habibi, I only dance with my fingers and my shoulders. What about your legs and your feet? Maybe she supports herself by her elbows. I don't like it when my wife dances in the street. It's embarrassing. And she says, well, I won't do it in Syria, but what about America? Can I dance in the street in America? And he says, no, it's never ever okay to dance in the street. And he tells the VT, sometimes my wife can be headstrong. She's my wife, and in my culture, I have to tell her what's right and what's wrong. If we have an argument, I have to tell her she should be quiet. Avery cocks her head to one side defiantly and says, I'm never quiet. I don't care to be quiet. But as she's showing this micro display of defiance, I can tell it's ticking over in her mind. Oh, good Lord, I've just realised that this Porsche only does 2 miles to the gallon. Oh, Avery, you're going to be stopping for gas every 20 seconds with this new Porsche. And I think it's quite interesting that this much harsher side of Omar, this, she's my wife, I have to tell her right from wrong, all of that has come out a lot more since they've become married. They've only been married one day, but in that one day, he's been more confrontational and more dictatorial than he has over the preceding 5 or 6 days. Very, very interesting. Wait until you're 1 year in, Avery. Omar should have chosen someone just a little more easygoing, because I feel like Avery's quite confrontational. She doesn't even take direction from her mum. So down the line, I just really don't know how this is going to work out. Maybe as Avery grows, she might not be as provocative as she is. Who knows? Guys, please don't forget to press that subscribe button. Come on, join the fun. And let me know what you think. Are Tim and Jennifer doomed? Will Avery and Omar move to Syria? Or do you think there's actually a plan B? Please let me know in comments. I love reading everything, and I will see you soon. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.